Hello, everybody. I'm Steven,
Hello everybody, I'm Rezvan.
and we're Cardboard Coalition. Today, we thought we'd bring you a quick video on some Kickstarters that are ending, but also to kind of talk about picking games to start playing and how to go about thinking about games you want to buy. Now, we're specifically going to be talking about Kickstarter because these are some games that are about to end, and this is some of the stuff that I'm kind of thinking about right now. So, we're working on this as usual. We think we figure out how to get Rezvan here so she can be in on it too. So then Rezvan can see some of the Kickstarters that I'm thinking about buying with you, and we can see Rezvan's reaction, what she thinks about the Kickstarters. So let's go ahead and get this started. And as I said, I just wanted to kind of talk about thinking about games and how to decide what Kickstarters to buy. So the best way to do, I guess, is to jump in. Let me jump the screens. I don't have multiple screens here with me, so I can't always see what's going on. I have one screen I'm working with, but we can still do it. All right, so as you guys can see, I have a Kickstarter pulled up. And the reason I have this Kickstarter pulled up, and I actually have 4 Kickstarters that I want to kind of talk about today. And the reason I want to talk about them is these are ones that I've thought about or I'm thinking about buying, but I'm just not entirely sure if I want to buy them. Right? So it's a good way to kind of bring in the thought process of buying a Kickstarter or a game on the shelf, to be honest, at your local, game store or what have you. So the first game that we have here is Rainbow Six Siege. Now this game, in some ways, is down my alley. It's a modern shooter. It's based on the Rainbow Six Siege game. Oh, sorry, I called it Rainbow Six Siege. It's called Six Siege, but it's based on Rainbow Six Siege. Now, this is a shooter game, or it's a modern game. It's based on a shooter video game. So in this game, what we're gonna get is, if you see it along the top here, so you guys should be able to see my cursor, it says one on one. It says it could play up to 4 people, but this does really feel like a one on one. You have 3 days left before this Kickstarter ends. I'll try to get the video up tonight for you guys. So you have 2 to 3 days left before this Kickstarter ends. All right. So another thing to point out is you can kind of get an idea of what the game might be by looking at the title, or right underneath the title will give you a quick thing. So here it says Six Siege. The board game is it says the board game. It should be this. The board game is a tactical one-on-one shooter based on the acclaimed Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege by Ubisoft. So it gives you a starter. But here's the thing about this game. It's a one-on-one, right? It's modern. It's a modern military kind of shooter, which makes me interested. As you can see here, there's lots of minis that are really cool, and they're modern military people instead of your normal space or your fantasy, your medieval kind of stuff, which I love the medieval stuff. I'm kind of getting into the space stuff. But here's the thing about this game. As you see right here, it says 2 to 4. In the reviews I've seen with early copies that people have gotten, it's really a one-on-one shooter. It's best played one-on-one. Now, my thought process here is there is a lot of reading that goes on, and this is very much a game where if I play it, it's best played with one other person, and if I play it with that one other person, we're going to be fighting each other. And Rezvan, are you a big fan of games where you play against each other?
Yes.
You do like playing against me? Like, hey, that's my fish where I'm trying to win, you're trying to win? Not playing with, playing against.
No.
No,
I
yeah.
play together.
Yeah,
We want
Rezvan's not a
to
big
know.
fan of playing against each other. And Rezvan would be the main person that I play these games with, right? So when you're looking at buying games or kickstarting a game, you want to look at your group, who you're playing with, or who you're playing with most. Where do you think you're going to be able to play this game and how? And then is the price worth it? So here's the other thing. So I keep trying to scroll down so you guys can see. I guess we can just kind of stop there. You can see it's obviously a modern shooter kind of thing. I think the minis are awesome. Some of the gameplay looks really fun. But the problem is, I don't think Rezvan would be really interested in playing. I might have some friends that would be interested in playing, but how often would I go see them? Now here's the thing: it's a $79 game, so or 79 $69 for the game with the Kickstarter exclusives, and then I would have to find someone to play that game with, because more likely than not, Rezvan wouldn't want to play it because we're going against each other. I mean, she does play games where one person wins. She's okay with it, but she prefers not to. So, and it's also there's a lot of reading that goes on. There you have to know, be able to read a lot of abilities and stuff. So as we're doing it virtually, it's kind of a no go for her, right? Let me see if I can scroll down and see one of these cards. Sorry if you guys get a little blurry. Well, it's blurry here, but as you can see, there's going to be a lot of print on the card. And for Rezvan, let's say to play mute, she would have to understand and be able to read through all that. And like I said, she's still learning English, though. We've said before, it seems like she's really good at English, and she's learning it really quick. But for her to have to read all this, I think it would take away from the game from her. There's that aspect of it. She's not the biggest fan of a competitive style game where someone has to win, right? And then I would have to find someone else. So $60, and then there's me, who I would want everything, because I'm bad like that. So then I'm looking at $200 with the game that Rezvan's probably not going to play with me. I'm sure if I really asked her, she would play, but she wouldn't be really happy. Why would I want her to play a game if she's not going to be happy, right? So now we're looking at spending. What's that?
Maybe yes, because that person's so beautiful. I like it.
That's my fear, is that Rezvan likes miniatures too. So she sees all the miniatures and she goes, no, wait, this is really cool. This might be a bad idea, bringing Rezvan on to do these Kickstarter talks. But this game, you're really fighting each other. One person's trying to defend. There's a couple scenarios, but one person tries to keep the other people out, and the other people try to come in and shoot them. That's kind of what the game is. So this one, ultimately, I think I'm going to pass, though even Rezvan agrees with me. The minis look amazing. If this game looks like it's down your alley, a first-person shooter, one-on-one, lots of abilities. There's a lot of cool things in this Kickstarter, or in this game, but I think it's just not going to work, right? And of course, we have a couple more days to think it through, but I feel like this game's not going to work. Now, I feel like I'm going to get myself, or Rezvan and, well, yeah, really myself, but Rezvan and I in a lot of trouble when I show this next game I wanted to talk about. And that one is Valor and Villainy, Ludwigs Labyrinth. Now, I can already see Rezvan's reaction. This game is a co-op game. It's the second game in the series. There's a first one, but that one's a one versus many. So one person is a bad guy, and then everybody plays against him. This one is a co-op, but the story is really kind of fun. You're a bunch of adventurers. You're celebrating. You're eating pizza at your favorite pizza parlor. And this gentleman right here, Ludwig, and his demon hordes come up and grab the pizza maker and take him down into his labyrinth. Hence Ludwigs Labyrinth. And you and your buddies go down to try to save your favorite pizza maker. So this game is so it says right here, delve into a labyrinth in this zany 1-6 legacy style co-op game. So co-op, this is what Rezvan likes when we're all playing together. We win together, we lose together. What legacy style means, and I definitely want to keep putting out videos where I talk about terminology in gaming, but what legacy style means is your character grows, things in the game permanently change as you do things and make decisions. So with this game, it's fun. The idea of it sounds really fun, right? The whole the zaniness of it, right? Sounds fun. So, and the player count is something that I really like, 1-6 players. I think once I scroll down, Rezvan's probably going to really like this game, but it's also finding enough people, or your play group, what would they play? So down here you see, Valor and Villainy, Ludwigs Labyrinth, a co-op adventure game with a twist of legacy. So it's legacy, sort of, is what's going on, right? So you could play it as one little mission at a time and just play through it, or your characters can keep items and bring them to the next you know, mission that you do and things like that. That's kind of the legacy version. But down here, you have some more information. It's a fully standalone because there's an earlier villains in Villainy, but it's cross compatible with the first one. It's fully cooperative. That means you get to play together. It's 1 to 6 players with the solo mode, so you can play it by yourself. Now, the game sounds fun. It sounds lighthearted. It sounds kind of silly, right? There's some of the miniatures, some of the heroes and bad guys. The miniatures look really cool. Yeah, I could see Rezvan's face lighting up. The miniatures look really cool. Now, if we go over here on the price for it, so this one, you don't want the retail version because that comes with standees, not miniatures. So we would be looking at least $90 for the game, all right? Or $135 if we want all the extras, right? All the bells and whistles. All right, so here it's telling you the first game is an 8.0 on Board Game Geek. Sounds great. People really like it. And as I've said before, you guys can check out Board Game Co. if you're looking at, can I sell this game later and get my money back? Alex over there at Board Game Co. is really good at talking about the ability to get your money back if you don't like the game and you want to sell it to someone else. This one, I watched his video, and from what he was saying, maybe you might lose a little bit because you got to remember for Kickstarter, you pay for the game full price plus shipping, right? So there's that. So this down here is showing you the original game versus the new game, kind of what you get, which is nice. What I'm trying to scroll down to find is some of the miniatures, right? And here they are painted up. So of course they look really crazy. Oh, Rezvan's tired. So why are you tired? It's morning.
Okay.
So here's the heroes, right? I like some of the heroes. They're gonna release more as time goes on. There's some sidekicks. I'm not entirely sure how they work. It's kind of cool how they hold the die, right? That's fun. Here's the villain. I'm trying to get down so you guys can see, and there's gonna be some more villains that they haven't shown yet. It's so what some Kickstarters do is you unlock things. The more money, the more people that buy the game, the more money the company makes, the more things they give you. Some companies do a daily unlock, so every day they show you something new they're gonna give you if you get the Kickstarter. So this is a how to play. You're running around, you're discovering the labyrinth, you're trying to find your favorite pizza guy, right? There's dice rolling in this, which is something I like. This has a lot of things I like, right? You can obviously rank your person up in what they do. That's probably melee and range attack and magic, which Rezvan knows this kind of stuff because we play Zombicide. Now, here's some of the minis, right? Here's the boss fights. These are the bosses you can fight. Let me see if I can scroll down a little more to give you guys some pictures of it. But you can see the minis look really fun. The game looks like it would be really fun. The original one has a good reviews about it. This one has good reviews from the people who are talking about this one. Now the thing is, I just spent a lot of money today to get a game shipped to us, to Rezvan and I, which will probably come in July. That's what they're saying, is in July it'll get here, and it's a big dungeon crawler style game. It's called Dark Rituals. I'll show Rezvan the game after we get done making this video. But so I already put out probably enough to buy this game and Siege 6. So Rezvan and I have already spent a lot of money this month. So that's the other thing to think about when buying games. How much money do you want to spend? If you're the kind of person who has tons of money, all for you. Do you want to think who's going to play it? Do I like the theme? How much money am I going to spend? So with both these games, I like the theme. Siege, I like the theme. Villainy, Valor and Villainy, I like the theme. I like the miniatures in both of them. Oh, here we go. So it shows you in the deluxe version all the miniatures. This is what I've been scrolling for a while for. So yeah, look at Rezvan's eyes. And once Rezvan gets here, she said she's going to paint miniatures with me, so I won't be the only one painting miniatures. But there's a whole bunch of miniatures in this one that you can buy and play with. Well, you get with the deluxe version, so that $90 version, and you play with. These are for the boss. He can have different weapons that you change. There's some tokens and stuff like that, right? And this is just going into this kind of stuff. Now, here's the thing about this game. This one is still on the debatable, but with having spent a good amount of money this month already, like I said, enough to buy both of these games, at least the base version of both these games. So the $69 and the $90 version, I spent more than that just today to get this big dungeon crawler with lots of minis and everything. I think Rezvan's gonna like. It's very grotesque, but she tends to think even the gross ones, like the fatties from Zombicide, are cute. So she might actually like it. But so I that's that. You got to balance. Unless you have all the money in the world, you kind of got to balance. So I'm still not sure. But I scrolled back up here so you guys can see there's still 10 days to go. Another thing with Kickstarters is just a side note, is you don't have to kickstart the Kickstarter. You can kickstart games and give them your money to back the company because you like it. You can give them the money because you really want the game. But the thing is, you're paying more than likely full retail price. Sometimes there's a little bit of a discount, but you're also paying shipping to get it to you. And then once it hits mass market, once it gets out there where you can buy it from websites like Miniature Market and coolstuff.com and places like that, it's going to be discounted, right? So you gotta weigh all that. And really what you think about is how much extra are you getting for the Kickstarter version, and you weigh that in. So you want to think about who's going to play it. Do I like the theme? All these, I like the theme, right? So that's obviously why I like the theme. But who am I going to play these games with? How much money have I spent already? Do I want to spend more money? Maybe one day our YouTube channel will explode and we'll get extra money just from making these videos, and then we can maybe buy more games. The other thing to think about is how many games do you think you're going to play in a month? I know Rezvan really likes to play games, and she's always really nice, and she doesn't always tell me every night she wants to play games, so I feel like she really does. But she waits for me to say it. Yeah, I see her shaking her head. Do you like playing games, Rezvan? I guess we should have you talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to think about how many games you think you're gonna play, right? And maybe kind of keep it down to that. I was recently looking at the games we're gonna get shipped to us. Some months we're gonna get no games at all, and then we're gonna have a couple months where we get 3-4 games if they are delivered at the time, which Kickstarters don't always deliver when they say they're going to. A lot of times you have to wait longer. But there's going to be months where we get nothing, and there's going to be months where we get 4 games. So it's interesting. You got to think about that when you're buying games. Also, if you're going to the local store or you're buying from an online store, think of how many games you think you can play through. Are you going to be able to play those games? Unless you're a collector, then just buy the games to buy them. But all right. Let's go ahead and finish up this video. We got 2 more games I want to show you guys. So the next one is the Forest of Pantai. I think Pantai, right? An enchanting strategy board game for 2 to 4 players, so it's a smaller player count, about growing a magical forest on the ancient lands of Pangaea. So this one is more of a forest-style game. This one still has 17 days before it ends. So you still have 17 days to decide if you're watching this video and you want to think about it. So 16, 17 days. So this game is about growing your trees in your forest. That's what this game's about, right? And it's got these cool little wooden trees, and they're stackable, right? They build up, and you lay down tiles. I'm sure there's some exploring going on in this. See, there's a little meeple of a moose right there. It looks like some kind of deer, maybe. But see the little trees? They're stackable, right? You put these little tops on and you stack them. If I can get it to scroll this side. So this one seems interesting to me. It's a little bit of an abstract. You're just trying to get your trees to grow in the forest, right? Grow your own forest and contend with other players for territory. So what it's saying is you have to grow your own forest. I'm assuming maybe that's what the different colors are. And then you're fighting kind of for land with each other. So you want more of your trees to grow than theirs. So this one is definitely one where you're playing against each other. So competitive, not co-op. All right. But this one, see, and you got the seasons that flip through. This looks fun, and you get these tiles that keep building out, and you can put your trees in. So it looks like an interesting game. Now the cost for this game, there's the standard. You never want to get standard. More likely than not, you don't want to get standard. So you're going to want to get the premium edition. It's going to give you some more stuff. So we're looking at $55 for this game. if we wanted to get this game. And we have 17 days to decide. There's a bigger spread. Yeah, as you can see, the different colors. So you're going to have tiles that flip, and you're going to have a forest that you can grow in, and you're trying to grow the most trees in your forest. I know, this might be dangerous. I see Rezvan over there out of the corner of my eye dancing. But as you see, there's 3 phases, right? Divided into 3 phases. There's the little tree it can grow and things like that. So this explains it to you a little bit. So expansion and growth, right? That's the whole point. You're trying to put down as many trees as you can, grow it. I think the theme already looks interesting enough. But also we got to go back into how much money have we spent this month on games, and do we want to spend more? If there were no games this month, if I hadn't paid for the shipping and some of the add-ons, that's what made today kind of expensive, as I added things on to this big dungeon crawler that I paid the shipping and add-ons today, so extra stuff. If there was nothing else, it's €55. I just noticed that, so it's probably $65 to $70 American. So maybe we'd get it, right? Because it's the only game this month, and that's cool. But it's not the only game, right? There's at least 3 others that I'm really interested. There's the Siege 6 or 6 Siege, Valor and Villainy, and this one that are still kind of on my radar. Granted, all of them are going to end in July. So I guess we could cheat and say, well, we're not buying the game in June. We're going to buy the game in July. It's a way to kind of cheat if we wanted to. But then what comes out in July? Now, the last thing I know, the last thing I want to talk about, and I promise guys we'll end the video if you guys are still watching, thanks for holding in with us, is this game, Heroes of Barcadia. Now, this game, Rezvan doesn't drink alcohol, but you could also drink soda or milk or whatever. But this game's designed for people who drink alcohol. So let's read the little blurb it has underneath. So Heroes of Barcadia, a puntastic tile-based dungeon crawler. Rezvan likes dungeon crawlers. Party tabletop game with a liquid twist. Your health is measured by your drink. So what it's telling you is it's a party game. It's a dungeon crawler. And then if you see here, you have these little people. Those are your characters that you play. And you put alcohol. Well, it doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be soda. It could be anything. But most people are going to want to put alcohol in this. And as you keep losing life, you have to drink more and more alcohol. So the idea is as you're playing the game, you're probably going to get a little buzzed, which Rezvan probably doesn't know. Buzz means slightly drunk. Just a little drunk. Not really bad drunk, but enough where you're a little lightheaded and you're having fun. So that's kind of what it's built around, right? And you could tell by there's the the wheat, for making beer and stuff right there. But they do say you can use any beverage you want, so it doesn't completely discount it. There's still 8 days left. There's a lot of people backing it, right? 8,795 people backing it. So a lot of people are like, yes, I want this. Now, one of the things I think is interesting about this is it's a dungeon crawl. One of the negatives for me is I don't drink as much anymore, and Rezvan doesn't drink at all. So for me to buy it,
or juice.
You'll drink juice?
Can I order juice or something?
Yes, you can drink juice with this. See, I knew this would be a bad thing if we brought Rezvan in, because she would want pretty much all the games here. But I'm trying to convince a couple friends, and if you guys are watching this video, I think maybe you should do it, but I'm trying to convince a couple friends who like to have people come over and they like dungeon crawlers and game night to pick this game up. So I don't have to, but I can play it, right? That's another way you can look at getting games. You can look at friends who might be interested and pass the word to them and say, hey, look, there's this game that I think maybe you might like. Now, don't be bad about it and get them to buy a game that you really want and they might not like. But this one, they would be interested in playing. Now, the only thing is the price on this one, I think, is $60 for the base version. Yeah, so $60 for the base version. You could pay $80. Oh, no, because it keeps changing. Some of them, this is the other one. Party and Barcadia. There's a digital thing that you can do and print stuff out. But Party and Barcadia gives you extra stuff. So you can play up to 8 players. So instead of 6, 8. Now, So $80 for the game, and that was their argument. Even at $60, it's kind of expensive for what the game is. At least one of my couple friends that I was trying to talk into buying this or encourage them to buy it. But as you see right here, the age for this game is 21 plus. So Rezvan doesn't know this. And if you're watching from another country, in America, you have to be 21 years old to drink alcohol. This is definitely a game designed for you to drink, as you see in the picture, beer. He's just behind barrels, beer. Those are barrels probably of alcohol, and then wine. It's meant for you to drink alcohol. It's kind of the fun. You get a little tipsy as you play, and you're trying to get through. There's another game, I think it's called Red Dragon Inn or something like that. It's a drinking game as well. But yeah, so if we scroll down, here's the game. The other thing that was really cool about it, see your health goes down, health down, health down, health down, health down. Oh, you're dead. Right? All the stuff that comes in the game is all plastic. So you don't have to worry about the cards getting wet. You don't have to worry about these tiles getting wet. You don't have to worry about the tokens getting wet. It's all plastic. So if someone spills, no big deal. I think there's even a video of it. This is talking about the features. Now, as I'm scrolling down, see it looks all fun. You can put mixed drinks in there. Oh, here it is, the 100% waterproof. So as you see, they're throwing all the pieces in a I don't know, a vase or something, a bowl full of water. It's all waterproof. So the idea sounds really cool. The problem is I don't really drink that much anymore. Rezvan doesn't really drink. Well, she doesn't drink at all. And then are we going to have a bunch of friends over that drink that can justify? Because I would want the $80 one that comes with the extra 2 glasses, the extra 2 players, blah, blah, blah. Would we play it enough to make it worth that $80? Now, the friends of mine that I've brought this up to, I think they would play it enough to make it worth their while, but that's someone else's decision. So that was basically kind of just a run through of the thought process of buying games. And this is obviously Kickstarter and crowdfunded stuff, so you have like GameFound. But you can take this kind of thought process and also apply it to online game stores where you're buying games, local game stores, local big box stores that have games. Who am I going to play the game with? Well, first off, do I like the theme? Then who am I going to play the game with? I mean, in any order you want. Do I like the theme? Who am I going to play the game with? How much money am I willing to spend for the game? That's definitely me. If you're someone who has all that money, more on you, you know, get whatever you want. But how much money do I want to spend on the game? How often am I going to spend the game? Kind of how much money. How much money am I spending versus how often am I going to play the game, right? And then, you know, think about, you know, how much money have I spent this month? So that's kind of it. When you're looking at buying games or getting a new game, right? If you're just getting the hobby, how many games should you get? How many games are you going to be able to play in a month? How many have you bought already, right? So you can think of, do I like the theme? How much does the game cost? Or who am I going to play with? Do I like the theme? Who am I going to play with, right? Will my group like playing with it? Who could I get to play it? How much it costs? Am I willing to pay that? Can I pay later? Wait until it's been out for a little bit and buy it later? That kind of thing. And then you think about, I just lost my train of thought. So you kind of add everything together. It's late for me here. You kind of add everything together and you decide, you know, if you want the game, right? And that's the best way to go about trying to pick a game. Theme, who's going to play it, how much am I willing to pay for it, and there's one more that just keeps blanking on me right now. But if you go about it that way, you can make smart decisions. Oh, how many games have I already bought that I need to play this month? Because it's wasted money, right? If you buy a game and you don't play it, you know, I'll be able to fit that game in. So hopefully this helps you guys by seeing my thought process on buying Kickstarters, helps you think about how you could go about getting into gaming, getting into buying games at local stores or on Kickstarter or where have you, see, I am getting tired, wherever it may be. So with that, I think it's time to give our adieus. As usual, help us grow the coalition by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'm Steven.
I'm Rezvan.
See you later, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh.